Yo, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Jayhawk here and welcome to the Season 2 Trade Deadline Special. Like I said last episode, today is only talking about trades. We're going to go over the trades that I have done off camera, which there is a handful of them. Not going to lie, there is a handful of trades that I did off camera. Then we will go over the 18 trades that you guys did vote on. So without further ado, let's get into the action. So I am now here in the transition report, and I'm going to go over each trade one by one, and it starts out right here with the Dakota Monuments, trading Austin Rivers and Evan Turner away to the LA Palms for Pat Connaughton and Abdel Nader. Now all these trades I did off camera. I did the spin the wheel to get a team, and then went through the trade finder. That's how I did all these trades, and of course all the trades that you guys voted on I found through trade finder, except a couple I custom made them myself. So there's the first trade. Next up we have Virginia Beach trading Quinn Cook to Minneapolis for Andre Iguodala. So it was just a young player for an old veteran player. Iggy's probably going to end up retiring at the end of this season anyway, so just a trade to help Minneapolis get a little younger as they're trying to make a push for the playoffs and all that. Next up we have the Bobcats trading Torian Prince and Thomas Satoransky to the Indianapolis Flames for Tristan Thompson and a 2024 second round pick. I'm not gonna try to talk through every trade. I'm just gonna give you guys a quick little rundown, you feel me? Next up we got OKC trading Ignas Brazdeikis. Hey, you gotta give me an A grade for that, because that was actually pretty spot on. It was close to it. But Ignas is going to Houston for Tony Snell. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when I made this trade, making this trade, Tony Snell kept declining his no trade clause, and I just forced him to get traded, because I don't know why you would want to stay on Houston, who's kind of probably not gonna make the playoffs, instead of going to OKC, who's competing for a playoff spot. So yeah, I forced that trade, not gonna lie. Right here, the Eclipse trading Torrey Craig and DeAndre Bembry to New Jersey for Patrick McCall and a 2022 second round pick. Just a quick little trade. And then another trade for New York, trading Sal Labissiere to Dallas for a second round pick this upcoming draft, and the draft in a couple years, 2024. Those two trades for New York were basically just trading players that really weren't getting any burn. So that's what happened right there. We got the Generals trading Jeff Teague and Jalen McDaniels to the Snowhawks for Xavier Tillman and Markieff Morris. Kind of weird looking trade, trading a point guard and a power forward for two other power forwards, but that's what the will and the trade finder told me to do, so that's exactly what I did. Las Vegas trading Alfonso McKinney and Davion Mitchell to the New York Lions for E'Twaun Moore. Either one of those trades could have went, it was a fair trade for both teams, I guess. Arizona trades Pau Gasol, Paul Reed, and Jordan Nwora to the Nevada Silver Rush for Kevin Knox and Jalen Harris. Kevin Knox, man. Remember when he was supposed to be the next big thing in the NBA? Yeah, not really worked out well. Hopefully it works out well for our league, though. We got Virginia Beach in another trade. Trading Nicholas Claxton, Anthony Simons, and Tyler Johnson to the Idaho Irish for Sharice Cooper and James Bouknight. That's what I call him, Bouknight. I think it's Boot Night. I don't know. But two young guards going to Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach is basically in tank mode, trying to rebuild their organization. I mean, they're probably looking at relocation next year, even though they just relocated this season, so tough break for Virginia Beach. Dakota trades Lonnie Walker, Tim Frazier, and Chimezi Mitu to the New Orleans Bounce for Tyler Hero and JaVale McGee. And if you noticed the last episode, because Mitu is always in the most improved race. If you didn't notice the New Orleans Bounce logo, I saw it, I was like, oh, someone might notice it. I wonder if anybody noticed it. If you noticed it, comment below and be like, oh, so he got traded, huh? Yeah, he got traded. Tyler Hero's going to Dakota as they go to a rebuild mode, trying to get some youth for the future. New Orleans, I felt bad only giving them 2 players, so I traded a 25 second round pick and then Trevion Graham to Dakota, and Dakota traded Edmund Sumner. Kind of felt bad giving up that, only getting another player. I don't know why. Yeah, just go with it. Louisville, they traded Thon Maker and Josh Jackson to the LA Knights for Emmanuel Quickly. So the Bobcats going in the rebuild mode and trading for some young players. That's what they're doing right there. Then they trade PJ Dozier and Bojan Mojanovic to the Pittsburgh Union for Elijah Hughes and a 2023 second round pick. So of course, Louisville is going to the youth movement, trying to rebuild their team. Hopefully it works out well for them. We have the Miami Tropics trading Miles Bridges and Nickeil Alexander-Walker to the Cleveland Rebels for TJ Warren. So Cleveland getting 2 young future stars of the league for TJ Warren. I mean, TJ Warren's an 86 overall. So, I mean, getting 2 80 overalls. I think Alexander Walker's an 80 overall. He might be a 79. He's one of those. They're close to 80s for an 86. That's not too bad of a trade. It was kind of fair to me. We got Jacksonville trading Kevin Huerter and Ersan Ilyasova to New Jersey for R.J. Hampton and Brandon Boston. So Jacksonville kind of going in the rebuild mode too, trading off for some young prospects for the future. So good trade right there. And the last trade is Vancouver trading Tyus Jones, Amari Spellman, and Admiral Schofield to the Indiana Roosters for LaMarcus Aldridge and Tyler Bay. Indiana getting some good bench pieces. LA's probably close to retirement, so he'll just rock it out with Vancouver for the rest of the year. But that's all the trades that I did off camera. I might do a couple more towards the end of this video, but now we're going to get into the 18 trades that you guys voted on. Gonna again show you guys the trades, and then I will give you the results and how you guys voted. So let's get into it. Alright guys, this is the first trade that was on the list. It is Otto Porter and Dwight Howard going to St. Louis from Dakota for Mitchell Robinson. And 60% of the votes agreed to this trade, so this trade will happen. Dakota will be getting back a young, talented player in Mitchell Robinson, but he's only got a 1-year contract, so it might be only for the rest of the season and he'll be gone. But for St. Louis, the top seed in the West, they're adding a good bench piece in Otto Porter, and then Dwight Howard's veteran self off the bench would be perfect for this team. So this is the first trade that has been accepted. Alright, trade number 2 on the list was Luke Kennard's Bryn Forbes to Las Vegas for Jeremy Grant and Keon Johnson. This trade involved a pretty good player in Luke Kennard, at least overall wise, a 79 overall. Of course, you guys saw how well he performed last year in the playoffs for St. Louis. It wasn't really a good performance for him. He didn't really shoot the ball well. No, he's on New York. My bad. He was on New York last year. He didn't really shoot the ball well, but he got a championship, so he's not complaining. And then Bryn Forbes, a good piece off the bench for Jeremy Grant and Keontae Johnson. Keontae, a 21-year-old just into the league, so he got a chance to develop in Dakota with those young players there. And then Jeremy Grant, he got a chance to like blossom out a little bit. I mean, he's hooping this year. But at 60%, this trade was agreed on by you guys. So this trade will go through. Alright guys, trade number 3 on the list. We switch over to Virginia Beach now, and they trade Kelly Oubre, Larry Nance, and Vernon Carey all to the New York Lions for Kevin Love and Cody Zeller. And for New York, they would be getting a pretty good up-and-coming star in Kelly Oubre, who's up to 13 points a game this year. And really, he's the go-to scorer for Virginia Beach. They would be getting a good piece off the bench in Larry Nance, a good veteran who's averaging better numbers than he did last year also. And then they'd be getting a young player in Vernon Carey, who hasn't really seen the floor like that this year, but he might have a chance to break out in New York as they push for the playoffs. For Virginia Beach, they would be getting a veteran in Kevin Love, getting up there in age, 33, but he's averaging better numbers than he did last year. He's still got 2 years to go on his contract, and then they'd be getting a veteran in Cody Zeller, who is hooping this year compared to last year. 11.8 rebounds this year. He's in his last year, so he'd only be here for the rest of the season. But with 80% of the votes, this trade was agreed on also. So you guys are 3 for 3 accepting trades. This trade, what? Oh, okay. Well, only thing we'll do is go get like one of the worst overall players. We'll trade them Andre Roberson. So Andre Roberson's going on another trade too, and I don't think he's seen the floor a little bit. But that will be the trade. Alright, trade number 4 with Virginia Beach again, trading Kyle Lowry to Kansas City for Monte Morris. And this trade was 80% accepted by you guys. What's going to each team? Kyle Lowry would be going to Kansas City. And I mean, his numbers are a little down compared to last year. He's getting up there in age too. He's got 3 years left on his deal. Monte Morris, 26-year-old, kind of young. He's averaging about the same numbers that he did last year. He has a chance to go to Virginia Beach and take the starting spot. We'll fill it in for where Lowry was. And for Lowry, I don't know if he's going to start with Luka being there in Kansas City, or if they're going to move Luka over to the 2 and let Lowry start. But either way, Lowry, it's another good piece for Kansas City as they try to make this push for the playoffs. And like I said, 80% of you guys did agree to this trade. So another accepted trade. Alright, trade number 5 brings us to Louisville now. Tim Hardaway Jr. to Atlanta for Kyle O'Quinn and a 2nd round pick. And this one also easily accepted. And Atlanta will be getting a veteran in Tim Hardaway, who's averaging pretty good numbers, about the same numbers that he did last year. He's shooting the ball a lot better than he did last year. He's also on a 2-year deal, so he'll be here the next couple years. He is 30 years old, so a good veteran off the bench for them. For Louisville, they'll be adding in Kyle O'Quinn, who's 32, doesn't really play like that in Atlanta. Plus, they'll be getting a 2nd round pick, which they will need. But for O'Quinn, he can go to Louisville and probably get a little more playing time than he would have got in Atlanta. And like I said, you guys easily accepted this one. So we have Tim Hardaway going to Atlanta. And this trade is accepted. Alright, trade number 6. And this was the first big blockbuster trade that was put into this. Is Joel Embiid and Pat Bev going to Alaska for DeAndre Ayton and Kyra Lewis. For Alaska, they would have been getting an all-star, another all-star appearance for Joel Embiid, and he's averaging great numbers this year compared to last year. Not really shooting. His field goal percentage really isn't the same, but the 3-point free throw percentage are up. Well, free throw is about the same. And then Pat Bev, he's just a pesky defender, would have helped them. And then for Houston, they would be getting a young, up-and-coming superstar in DeAndre Ayton, who I did put on my list for All-Star snubs, which I felt like he deserved one this year. And then they will got a young point guard in Kyra Lewis, who's in his 2nd year, and he is hooping this year. Up 8 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists. His shooting numbers are great, so that's what they would have been getting. But 60% of you guys did decline this trade, so this trade will not be happening. So the first time that you guys have declined the trade. So let's move on to the next one. Trade number 7 involves Houston, of course, again, with Bogdan Bogdanovic going to the defending champion New York Eclipse for Jakar Sampson and 2 second-round picks. New York would be getting Bogdanovic, a good shooter, and probably would hop into the starting role for them. And he's putting up better numbers than he did last year, 13.5 points. He's shooting the ball well. Pretty much the same as last year. Free throw percentage is down though. For Houston, that'd be getting Jakar Sampson. He's 29 years old. Not really getting playing time like that. In New York, maybe he would get playing time there. Plus 2 second-round picks. And 60% of you guys did accept this trade, so the defending champs get a little stronger, adding in Bogdanovich, one of the best perimeter shooters in the league. So, Bogdanovich, you're heading to the champs. Alright, next up, we switch teams again. This time the Jacksonville Tritons. It's Mike Conley and Jeremy Lamb heading to Minneapolis for Desmond Bane and Kendrick Nunn. And here's what's on the line for both teams. Mike Conley, averaging better numbers than he did last year. He's shooting the ball field goal wise a little down, but his 3-point percentage is definitely up almost 10%. So you're getting Mike Conley, and then Jeremy Lamb, who he's hooping this year, better numbers all across the board, and he'll be a good addition to the team. For Jacksonville, they would be getting a young player in Desmond Bane, who's actually like hooping in real life for Memphis. Well, he was, right? He was in Memphis. I don't know, but he's not doing too bad, honestly, in the little playing time that he's gotten with the Blizzard. I think he'll definitely get more burn in Jacksonville. And then they'd also be getting Kendrick Nunn, who hasn't really played at all and actually was on the G League. That's why his overall says 70 right here compared to 75. But at 60%, you guys did agree to this trade. So Mike Conley will be going from one of the bottom tier teams to a potential playoff team in Minneapolis. So congrats, Mike Conley, you're on your way out. Alright, next up, staying with the Jacksonville Tritons, it's Josh Richardson and Joe Ingles to Nevada for Sekou Doumbouya and Deshaun Nix. And let's look at what everybody would be getting. For Nevada, they would be getting Josh Richardson, who's 28 and hooping out this year, averaging just over 11 points per game, and his shooting percentages are better across the board outside of the free throw percentage, about the same as it was. But they would be getting a pretty good player in Richardson. He's 28 years old, and then they get a veteran in Joe Ingles, not really shooting the ball well compared to last year, not really playing that well, but he has a shot going to a team like Nevada, who's trying to push for a playoff spot. Maybe get some good valuable minutes off the bench for them. For Jacksonville, they'd be getting Sekou Doumbouya, 21 years old, fresh up in the league. He's only a couple years into the league, and he's averaging a career high in 6.5 points a game, 3.8 rebounds. He's shooting the ball well, 46%. 3-point percentage really ain't there. But 21, he's already at 78, got a chance to develop a little more, and then they begin Deshaun Nix. Hasn't played at all. He's 20 years old, fresh out of the draft this year, so he's got a chance to develop a little bit in the G League for them. So at 60%, this trade was accepted. So we have Richardson and Ingles heading to Nevada. Alright, well, this trade was accepted, 60% of the vote. Vancouver trades Davis Bertans to the Utah Range for 3 second-round picks. Bertans averaging about the same numbers, 8.6 points, 3.6 rebounds. He's really just a 3-point specialist. His 3-point numbers, his shooting numbers are just down altogether, but he's going to a Utah team, and hopefully he'll be able to give them some valuable minutes, either on starting or off the bench, and help them make a push for the playoffs. But Bertans is on the way. 3 second-round picks to Vancouver. Easily accepted by the fan. Alright, here's one of the shocking trades that I thought was definitely going to get accepted, but 60% of people said no. JJ Redick will be having to stay in Vancouver instead of going to a Cleveland team that's in the playoff hunt for Ethan Thompson not playing. He was one of the last picks in the draft last year. Got a chance to develop. He's 22. For JJ, he's 37. Probably going to retire. He's averaging 11 points. Ooh, got a hiccup right there. He's averaging 11 points and shooting the ball well. I was surprised that he didn't get traded. Well, that you guys didn't accept his trade. But, of course, I'll probably do an off-camera trade to get him traded to another team, probably a contender. We'll see what happens. But you guys did say no to this trade. Alright, this trade I was not surprised that definitely got declined. But 80% of you guys said no to this one. Kyle Anderson for Keon Martin Jr. And he's not really playing that well. Or, well, getting burned like that. But he's 73 overall, 21 years old, so he's got a couple years to grow. For Kyle Anderson, he's 28, averaging better numbers than he did last year across the board. 5.5 rebounds, 2 assists. His shooting numbers are basically about the same. He's shooting better from the three-point line and free throw line, but I mean, you guys said no to this trade, so he will be staying here. So another trade that has been declined. All right, another trade. This time we're in Miami. And it was Russell Westbrook and JaMychal Green to New Orleans for Kimball Walker and 2 second-round picks. 60% votes declined this trade also. New Orleans would have got Westbrook, an all-star, averaging almost 17 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. I mean, shooting numbers, besides free throw line, are down from last year. But it's still Westbrook. He's 33 years old. He's just an all-around threat every year, and then they would have got a veteran in JaMychal Green. Not really seeing the floor like that, but he's got 5 points in his limited action. And for Miami, they would have got Kimball, who's averaging better numbers than he did last year. He's up to 16 points, 4 assists. Shooting numbers about the same as last year. His free throw percentage is almost tops in our custom league, but that trade was declined by the fans, so Westbrook and Kimball will be staying on their respective teams. Alright, here we go. Miami involved in this trade too. Hassan Whiteside and Yogi Ferrell to Las Vegas for Jrue Holiday, and 80% of you guys agreed to this trade. I was surprised by this one. Las Vegas will be getting Whiteside, whose numbers are up, averaging 8 points, 9 rebounds, 47% from the field. His free throw numbers even up from last year. Blocks about the same, steals about the same also. I mean, so they're getting Whiteside, and then they'll be getting Yogi Ferrell, who hasn't really seen the floor like that. He'll probably see some action eventually. And then Miami now will team up Jrue Holiday next to Westbrook. And Holiday's numbers are down from last year. And if you guys remember in the playoffs when Kyrie got hurt, Jrue Holiday, yeah, it was going to be rough for him. He wasn't built for being by himself. So he's now going to be teaming up with Westbrook. So 80% of you guys agreed to this trade. So we're going to make it happen. All right, up next we have Miami with DeMarcus Cousins and Aaron Holiday, Jrue Holiday's brother, to the LA Knights for Cassius Stanley and Myers Leonard, and 60% of you guys agreed to this trade. For the LA Knights, they'll be getting Boogie, who's averaging about the same numbers as he did last year. Rebounds are down, assists are down, but his shooting numbers are definitely up. 3-point is about the same, but his field goal percentage and free throw percentage are definitely up. And everything else is about the same, so Boogie's going to LA along with Aaron Holiday, whose numbers are kind of about the same. His shooting numbers are down besides the free throw, but besides that, it'll be a good addition for LA as they make a push, and they're currently the 2 seed right now, so big addition for them. For the Tropics, they'll be getting a young player in Cassius Stanley, 22 years old. Hasn't really seen the floor like that this year, but that'll probably change with a change of scenery. And then they'll be getting Myers Leonard, who's in his little time of action is doing pretty decent, but 75 overall, 30 years old. He's on a 1-year contract, so he'll probably be gone at the end of the year. But you guys did accept this trade, so we will make it happen. The second of our blockbuster trades that was on this, Damien Lillard, Will Barton, and Daniel House, and then I had to throw in David Johnson because it would have made this an illegal trade. 16 players would have went to Dallas. It would have been on Dallas' roster. But all of them to Atlanta for Fred VanVleet, Kai Jones, Jakob Poeltl, Dorian Finney-Smith, and 2 second-round picks. And surprisingly, 60% of you guys accepted this trade. Now it's going over to Atlanta. One of the best point guards in the league, MVP candidate Damien Lillard, averaging 24 points, 6 assists. He's an all-star starter, and he will now be teaming up with Klay Thompson. That's going to be a scary backcourt. You got Will Barton averaging better numbers than he did last year all across. His shooting numbers are kind of the same a little bit. Free throw percentage is definitely up. A good addition there. Daniel House will be a good addition off the bench. He's been doing his thing. Numbers are kind of the same as they were last year, and then they're getting David Johnson, who was picked this past draft and hasn't seen the floor yet. For Dallas, they will be getting Fred VanVleet, 28 years old. He's hooping, averaging 15 points, 5 assists. I mean, his shooting numbers are kind of about the same as where they were. But besides that, I mean, a young-ish guard. Damien's 31, Fred's 28. They're going to get a young center in Kai Jones. 6 points, 3 rebounds so far. He's doing his thing, and he's got time to grow, you feel me? 21 years old, 75 overall right now. Jakob Fertl, he's 26. He's averaging better numbers than he did last year. 5 points, almost 7 rebounds. Shooting numbers are kind of about the same as they were last year. So he's 26 also, 78 overall. Time for a chance for him to grow. Dorian Finney-Smith, he's 28. His numbers are up from last year shooting-wise. He's about the same except the free throw percentage is down. But he's 28, 77 overall. Then they're getting 2 second-round picks to go with it. So in our first ever blockbuster deal, Damien Lillard is heading to Atlanta to team up with Klay Thompson. Alright, we are on our second to last trade now. Is Derek White, Nicholas Batum, Keon Johnson to Mississippi for D'Angelo Hips, our first custom prospect offered in trades, and Alize Johnson. And 80% of you guys agreed to this trade, so we will be making it happen. What's going to each team? Mississippi will be getting Derek White, 80 overall, shooting guard. He's 27. His numbers pretty well on the same page as last year. Free throw percentage over 90%. That's working for him. They get a veteran, Nicholas Batum. He's 33. Not really getting playing time like that in Dallas. Maybe he'll go to Mississippi and help them out if they are pushing for a playoff spot. And then Keon Johnson, 20 years old, he's 74, hasn't really played this year, but I mean, he's 20, he's got a chance to grow a little bit more in Mississippi, especially with like veterans like Kawhi there. For Dallas, they'll be getting our first custom prospect, D'Angelo Hips, my dog, and he's averaging 10 points. And I mean, his shooting numbers pretty well. Free throw percentage probably needs to be a little up a bit. But he's 19. He's already at 80 overall, so he's going to go help out Dallas the best way he can. He's going to team up with Fred now. And then Alize Johnson, he's 25, not really playing like that. But he's probably got a shot to get a little bit of playing time on a Dallas team that's kind of rebuilding. So 80% of you guys did agree to this. So we will make this happen. And now the final trade that you guys voted on. Dallas, for the last time, Maxi Kleber and Ish Smith to Richmond for Michael Lee. I have no idea. We call him Svi. I remember that's what we used to call him when he got drafted by the Lakers. And then Rokas Jukabaitis. I have no idea. Rokus. But this trade, 60% was accepted. What each team will get in Kleber, a 30-year-old. He's not really doing that well for Dallas, but he'll be going to a Richmond team in the playoff hunt, so gives them some valuable minutes. And then Ish Smith, not doing it. He's not really getting burned like that either, but in the playing time they have done, he's doing pretty well, and he's just going to provide leadership off the bench. For Dallas, Svi, he's 24. He's a 75 overall. His numbers aren't that bad, and like I say, he's 24, so he'll just go help out with the rebuild for Dallas. And then Rokas, he's 21, hasn't played that at all this year, 72 overall, so he's got a chance to develop his game. But 60% of you guys did accept this, so our last trade has been accepted. Alright guys, so that's kind of getting close to the end of the video. Now I'm just gonna do another couple more off-camera trades, and at the end we will now look at the new roster. I will put a link to a Google Docs form to show you guys players, all the players that did get traded and where their new team is, so make sure you guys check the description for that. But After I finish these trades, I will show you guys what everybody's new roster looks like, and we will wrap up this video. Alright, I have finished going through and making all my little trades. So here is now the official rosters for each team. Of course, only going over the top 5. Montreal, KD, De'Aaron Fox, RJ Barrett, Eric Pascal, and DeAndre Hunter. DC, we got James Harden, Jay Walking, Eric Bledsoe, Troy Brown, and Ricky Rubio. Indianapolis, Trae Young, Michael Porter Jr., Anthony Edwards, John Wall, and Bojan Bogdanovic. Cincinnati, Bam, D'Lo, Zach LaVine, Marcus Morris, and Alex Len. Cleveland, Jimmy Butler, Ben Simmons, Rudy Gobert, Miles Bridges, and Gary Trent Jr. New York Lions, Montrezl Harrell, Kelly Oubre, Larry Nance, Gary Harris, and Eric Gordon. Nevada's got Colin Sexton, Okongwu, Josh Richardson, Miles Turner, and Josh Little. Toronto, Steph Curry, Chris Middleton, James Wiseman, Pat Williams, and Ivan Rabb. Dallas, Fred VanVleet, Ivica Zubac, D'Angelo Hill, Jakob Poeltl, and Cedi Osman. For Atlanta, Damian Lillard, Klay Thompson, Valanciunas, Okogie, and Will Barton. For Virginia Beach, Kevin Love, Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, Cody Zeller, and Monte Morris. Jacksonville's got John Collins, Sekou, RJ Hampton, Timothy, and Robert Woodard. For Alaska, DeAndre Ayton, Jamal Murray, Jonathan Isaac, Kyra Lewis, and Buddy Hield. For Utah, Donovan Mitchell, Andre Drummond, PJ Washington, Jalen Suggs, and Robert Williams. New York Eclipse, Giannis, OG, Jared Allen, Bogdanovic, and Derek Favors. Richmond's got LeBron, Tobias Harris, Goga, Jalen Smith, and Carmelo. For Las Vegas is Kyrie, Zion, Clint Capella, Gallinari, and Whiteside. Vancouver, Jaylen Brown, LaMarcus Aldridge, Hachimura, Kyle Anderson, and Trey Jones. Arizona, Steven Adams, Dante DiVincenzo, Jabari Parker, Mark Gasol, and Rodney Hood. Mississippi, Kawhi Leonard, Killian Hayes, Derek White, Julius Randle, and Sadiq Bey. We got Houston with Embiid, Clyde Blackheart, Bobby Portis, Isaac Bonga, and Jeremiah Robinson Earl. For New Jersey, we got Pascal Siakam, Victor Oladipo, Jackson Hayes, Kevin Huerter, and Alonzo Trier. Dakota, got Ja, Tyler Hero, Mitchell Robinson, Jaden Barr, and Skylar Mays. Indiana, Jokic, Karis LeVert, Markkanen, Culver, and Dragic. Kansas City, Luka, Malcolm Brogdon, Kyle Lowry, Okoro, and Precious. Louisville, B.I., Tyrese Halliburton, C.J. McCollum, Tristan Thompson, and Emmanuel Quickley. Pittsburgh, Shea, Jaren Jackson, Kobe White, J.D. Hager, and Serge Ibaka. We got Zion, Marvin Bagley, Evan Fournier, Cole Anthony, and Otto Porter in St. Louis. New Orleans, Paul George, Kimball Walker, Brandon Clark, DeAndre Jordan, and Lonnie Walker. OKC, Bradley Beal, Nurkic, Dinwiddie, Chandler Hutchinson, and Nerlens Noel. LA Knights, Porzingis, Sabonis, DeJounte Murray, Evan Mobley, and Aaron Holiday. Minneapolis, Wendell Carter, Jalen Green, Obi Toppin, Zay Phil, and Mike Conley. Portland, Devin Booker, Vucevic, and Chris Paul. Me, Jordan Hawkins, and Christian Wood. Idaho, AD, Cat, Cade, Lonzo, and Zaire Williams. LA Palms, Tatum, Fultz, Wiggins, Mo Bamba, and Marcus Smart. We have Westbrook, TJ Warren, Drew Holiday, Darius Baisley, and Cam Reddish wraps it up. So that's what the new look teams look like. Next video that we will get into will be All-Star Weekend. We will send them up to that point. And get ready for All-Star Weekend. We'll see who's competing in the Rising Stars game, the 3-point contest, dunk contest, and then the main event, the All-Star Game team Steph versus Team Lucas should be a fun one this year. Hope you guys are enjoying Season 2 so far. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you guys don't miss an upload. And as always, I appreciate you guys for the love and support, and I will catch you guys on the next one.
Be fucked up if you can't be right, yeah. I do the same thing I told you that I never would. I told you I